Welcome back to our journey through the fascinating world of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime's Light Novel. Let's continue from the last part, where we left.
In a grand room with a nice woodsy smell, Clayman, a powerful figure, got ready to meet other demon lords. The room had fancy stuff and art by Bismarck, who made realistic masterpieces. Carolon, the Beastmaster, came first, followed by Milim, a young but strong demon lord. Frey, the Sky Queen, also came, even though she didn't want to at first. Clayman, good at manipulating, wanted to control the meeting and talk about his failed plans with Gelmud. Tensions rose as the Demon Lord Summit started. Clayman began by telling the sad news of Gelmud's death and their failed plan. Carolon asked about the rushed operation, worried about Veldora not being there. But Clayman said they needed to control the forest's fate without Veldora. Milim, upset about the plan being abandoned, asked about making the Orc Lord a Demon Lord. Clayman said Gelmud's death was a setback, and the Orc Lord's fate was uncertain. Frey, seeming uninterested, surprised Clayman by suggesting the Orc Lord could become a Demon Lord. Using crystal spheres, Clayman showed Gelmud's perspective, making Milim angry. Frey, calming things down, caught Clayman's attention with her subtle expressions. The Demon Lords talked about investigating the forest and the potential power shift, making things tense. Hidden behind exchanged glances, they thought about the risks and benefits. Carolon, the Beastmaster, felt positive. Leading the lycanthropes, supported by the accursed Lord and Demon Lord Milim, he became a Demon Lord. Despite tension with Leon, another strong Demon Lord, Carolon focused on getting stronger. Clayman's summit offer intrigued him, a chance to make a new Demon Lord with shared control. Trusting Clayman's cunning, he saw a chance for mutual benefit. Despite uncertainties about Milim's actions, Carolon thought the summit could be good. Frey, the Harpy Queen, seemed uninterested and unlikely to interfere. The real challenge, Carolon thought, would be understanding Clayman's true motives in this strategic battle of wits. He considered his approach, thinking about the upcoming event's complexities. Frey was frustrated to be part of the summit Milim forced her into. Despite Milim's carefree attitude, Frey couldn't ignore the ominous prophecy about the calamity-level monster, Charybdis, threatening her territory. As she thought about dealing with it, Frey noticed Milim's interest in the crystal spheres. The unpredictable Milim, a dragon-born and a powerful demon lord, could be the key to defeating Charybdis. But convincing Milim wouldn't be easy. Milim, known as the Destroyer, didn't care much for alliances and had everything she wanted. Desperate to find a solution, Frey thought about using Milim's boredom to get her help, realizing the urgency of removing the looming threat of Charybdis. Taking a deep breath, Frey made a firm decision, hoping to turn the situation to her advantage. Clayman, with a polite smile, watched the three powerful beings before him. He had orchestrated the failed plan, and although he worried about the consequences, he focused on a new scheme. Clayman wanted Milim and Carolon to trust him and owe him a favor, adjusting his goals after the Orc Lord's defeat. Frey, however, appeared as a wild card, showing concerns that Clayman hoped to exploit. He believed winning the trust of these powerful beings was crucial for future plans, especially during the grand meeting of Demon Lords. Clayman envisioned manipulating them like puppets, securing their votes and influence. The forbidden forest of Jura intrigued Milim, and Clayman saw an opportunity to control the situation. Thinking about his objectives, he felt excited, eager to play the puppet master again. Deep in thought, Milim felt a sense of responsibility as one of the oldest leaders among the Demon Lords. Believing in her own intelligence and experience, she suggested nullifying a long-standing agreement for everyone's benefit. The others hesitated, but Milim confidently suggested abolishing the pact that forbade entry into the forest of Jura. As she explained the historical reason behind the agreement, Clayman realized Veldora's absence made the annulment possible. The Demon Lords, now agreeing to work individually, decided to compete in exploring the forest for their gains. Milim, full of enthusiasm, left quickly, leaving the others amused and slightly bewildered. With a mix of anticipation and scheming, Clayman contemplated the unfolding events, foreseeing new challenges for Rimuru and the town. King Gazel of the Dwarves received a surprising report from his spy about a slime and its monster allies building a city in the forest of Jura. Disturbed by the potential threat, Gazel learned of orc hordes, ogre extinction and lizardmen preparing for war, with the emergence of a dangerous orc lord. Fearing the kingdom's vulnerability, he declared a state of emergency and mobilized the Pegasus Knights, the strongest knights in Dwargen, in anticipation of conflict. However, an unexpected turn occurred when high-level Magicborn intervened, ending the war and obstructing the Dwarven covert team's surveillance. Despite uncertainty, Gazelle decided to lower alert levels, but approved the covert team's request for better equipment to conduct a detailed investigation of the forest once the chaos subsided. The tension in Dwargon persisted as the king remained cautious, aware that the situation could change at any moment. 3 months had passed since the kingdom faced the sudden surge of monster activity in the forest. The leaders, anxiously awaiting King Gazelle's words in his receiving room, knew that his decision would mark the conclusion of intense debates. Surprisingly, the damage caused by the monsters was minimal, but the slime's involvement intrigued them. Reports spoke of a peaceful dispersal of a massive orc army, evolving into high orcs. Gazelle, aware of the potential threat, considered the situation Special A, signifying calamity. The true concern, however, was the mysterious presence orchestrating powerful magic born and enacting a mysterious evolution. Gazelle, realizing the urgency, declared his intention to meet their leader, causing a mix of concern and support from Henrietta, Vaughn, Jane, and Dolph, the leaders of Dwargen's military forces. Gazelle's decision set the stage for a crucial moment in the kingdom's destiny, as the leaders prepared for the unfolding events with a blend of anxiety and determination. The town was shaping up better than expected, with neat rows of houses and carefully planned amenities. Despite feeling like just a bossy overseer, Rimuru was pleased with the organized layout and focused on essential needs like toilets, water, and pest control, aiming for standards similar to those from their homeland. Initially, wooden toilets posed a challenge until they opted for porcelain-like materials, crafted by skilled artisans. Surprisingly, the town developed a water system using gravity and processed magic stones, far surpassing Rimuru's expectations. Addressing hygiene, they implemented window screens made of spider silk and introduced magitools for warm water, solving fuel and bathing dilemmas. The inventive solutions from the dwarven craftsmen eased concerns and promised further advancements, leaving Rimuru impressed and relieved by the town's progress. The town's homes were finished, and now the focus turned to the residents' needs. After their evolution, the creatures' birth rates decreased, leading to the need for a formal marriage system. The question arose about allowing polygamy, considering the custom of stronger tribe members selecting partners for healthier offspring. Concerns about magicules, life force, and the impact on strength during procreation were discussed, revealing the delicate balance between love and practicality in monster relationships. With the construction of homes complete, attention shifted to addressing reproduction challenges and ensuring everyone's happiness. Food, shelter, and clothing were established, with Lilina overseeing vegetable growth, Shuna evaluating wild resources, and Rigor's hunters securing provisions. The town, now resembling a real community, faced the next task of developing the outer limits and expanding its fields for sustained prosperity. About a month ago, Gabil walked into town like he owned the place, eating up their food. Shion, a tough fighter, was ready to fight him, but he quickly bowed down, begging for mercy. Gabil explained he had nowhere to go since his dad kicked him out. Feeling sorry for him, Rimuru agreed to let him stay. Turns out, he had a talent that might be useful. His crew of fighters also kneeled before Rimuru, making Shion put away her sword. Later, they found out that Abel's daughter, part of Gabil's group, was there willingly and wanted to serve Soei, not Gabil. They had a weird family dynamic, with Gabil not knowing that she was secretly keeping an eye on him for her dad. After accidentally evolving Gabil, Rimuru decided to name the Lizard Man team he acquired. He named the guard Captain Soka, and her team members Toka, Saika, Nanso, and Hokuso, based on cardinal directions and flower or spear themes. The evolution process unexpectedly turned them all into dragonutes, demi-humans with dragon traits. Males gained wings, horns, and firmer scales, while females looked more human but could transform into dragon-like beings. Rimuru tested Gabil's newfound strength by attacking him and warning against betrayal. Gabil's evolution boosted him to A-rank status, and Soka became an A-, making them formidable fighters under Soei's tutelage. who promised to train them rigorously in combat skills. Rimuru decided to let Soe train Sokka and her royal guard, and they were thrilled about it. Meanwhile, Gabble and his army needed tasks and proper living conditions. Rimuru noticed their worn-out gear and decided to provide new equipment. He found a solution by assigning them to live near the underground lake, using its magic for cultivating herbs. Despite concerns about the monsters in the cave, Rimuru consulted the sage and concluded that, with teamwork and better gear, the Dragonutes could handle it. Rimuru entrusted them with the task of cultivating herbs and made it clear to work in groups for safety. He also provided healing potions to motivate and protect them in case of emergencies. Gabil was eager to fulfill the task, promising wholehearted dedication. After about a month, Gabble and his team adapted well to cave life, navigating with ease and improving their strength. Garm and Kurobe upgraded their gear, enhancing their overall abilities. Rimuru, checking on their progress, was pleased to find them using magic sense and thought communication efficiently. Gabil demonstrated leadership skills, leading them to quickly acclimate to the cave's challenging environment. Rimuru considered a mock battle with goblin riders for entertainment. Gabil's team then focused on cultivating hippocute herbs, although Gabil mistakenly presented Rimuru with weeds instead. Despite the tense exchanges, the herb cultivation progressed steadily. Gabil, now a dominant figure in the cave, intimidated monsters, and some in his entourage could handle evil centipedes alone. Rimuru, impressed yet cautious, left the cave, contemplating the future of potion production and hoping for a self-sufficient town. However, an emergency arose when several hundred winged horses approached. Rimuru, alerted by Soe, quickly organized a response. With a force of 1,000 knights from the Dwarven Kingdom, their destination was clear, directed towards the town. The group, ranked A-, posed a significant threat. Despite Shiyun's eagerness for a direct confrontation, Rimuru hesitated, considering the potential casualties. Kaijin shared rumors about a secret dwarven force, the Pegasus Knights, possibly led by the Dwarf King. Unsure of their intentions, Rimuru prepared for a diplomatic approach, while unaware of the resolved Orc Lord's situation. The impending encounter raised tension and uncertainty among the group as they awaited the arrival of the mysterious visitors. Rimuru, curious about their arrival, approached with Rigurd and Kaijin. It turned out that the Dwarven King, Gazelle, led the group. Despite the tense atmosphere, Gazelle showed no immediate hostility. Instead, he proposed a duel with Rimuru. As the two prepared to face off, Trainee, a dryad, appeared, offering to oversee the match. Her presence added an air of solemnity to the proceedings, as both sides braced for the duel ahead. Gazelle's determination to test Rimuru's strength underscored the seriousness of the situation, leaving everyone on edge. The match was set to determine not only physical prowess, but also the course of future negotiations between their groups. The Dryad shouted, "Begin!" and Gazelle and Rimuru started their sword fight. Rimuru, using his magic sense skill, tried to figure out Gazelle's moves. Despite his efforts, Gazelle's sword skills proved to be too advanced, and Rimuru struggled to find a way to counter. As the battle intensified, Gazelle unleashed a powerful skill called Heroic Aura, making Rimuru unable to move. With the help of his partner, Great Sage, Rimuru realized he needed fighting spirit to resist the aura. He screamed and released a voice cannon, distracting Gazelle and breaking the aura. The fight continued, and Gazelle disappeared from sight, launching a surprise attack. In a split-second decision, Rimuru raised his sword, successfully blocking Gazelle's strike. Trainee declared Rimuru the winner, and Gazelle acknowledged Rimuru's strength. The relief and exhaustion set in for Rimuru as the battle concluded, providing a glimpse of the formidable Gazelle Dwargo's abilities. The white-clad knight defended King Gazelle's honor, stating that he hadn't relented in the battle. Other dwarves acknowledged Gazelle's sword skills, emphasizing that the duel was to understand each other, not a fight to the death. Gazelle and Rimuru exchanged compliments, and the presence of Hakuro, Gazelle's old swordmaster, added a nostalgic touch. The dwarves' mission was revealed to be investigating the team of monsters that defeated the Orc Lord. The tension eased, turning the meeting into a banquet where stories were shared. Gazelle's covert team had been monitoring Rimuru, and the evening unfolded with discussions about aerial combat, magic, and past connections. Despite initial skepticism, Gazelle expressed genuine interest in learning from Rimuru and Hakuro, revealing a more down-to-earth side. Then King Gazelle approached Rimuru with a serious question: whether they wanted to form a covenant. Gazelle highlighted the benefits of such an alliance, recognizing Rimuru's ability to govern the vast forest. He proposed terms, including a non-aggression treaty, mutual assistance, building a road to Dwargen, safety for dwarves, and technology sharing. Despite the monumental nature of the offer, Rimuru hesitated, considering the implications of being recognized as a full-fledged nation. Gazelle assured him of mutual benefits, and, after consulting with the group, Rimuru accepted the offer. The dwarves planned to relay the news back to their kingdom, and Gazelle asked about their nation's name. This led to a realization that they hadn't decided on a name, prompting a discussion about their alliance and the direction it should take. Eventually, they settled on the name Jura Tempest Federation, with Tempest as a shortened version. After promising to visit again soon, King Gazelle surprisingly returned just 2 days later, much to Rimuru's confusion. Gazelle brought along Vester, the one who had trapped them before, as a gesture of trust and cooperation. Despite Kaijin's objections, Gazelle insisted on Vester joining their community to share technological expertise. Gazelle's authoritative demeanor and strategic aims became apparent, revealing his keen interest in their advancements. Rimuru couldn't shake the feeling that Gazelle could read their thoughts, especially with his uncanny ability to anticipate their moves. Gazelle departed abruptly, leaving behind a communication crystal for emergencies, symbolizing his swift and impactful presence in their lives. His actions stirred a whirlwind of emotions, marking another unexpected turn in their evolving relationship. After King Gazelle's departure, Rimuru and Kaijin questioned the stability of Gazelle's rule, given his unconventional behavior. As they discussed this, Vester approached them, expressing sincere remorse for his past actions and a desire to atone by working with them. Rimuru, cautious yet willing to give him a chance, laid down the condition that Vester must follow Rimuru's orders. Vester, humbled and eager to redeem himself, pledged to devote himself to research. Kaijin vouched for Vester, emphasizing the benefit of having another talented researcher. Rimuru, trusting Kaijin's judgment, welcomed Vester to the town. The atmosphere shifted from skepticism to optimism as Vester promised to work diligently and embrace the opportunity for a fresh start in their community. Rimuru arranged for Gabil to assist Vester in his research project in the sealed cave. When they met, Vester expressed eagerness to collaborate and introduced himself, while Gabil offered his support and expertise. Rimuru admired the thriving hippocute cultivation in the cave but realized that Vester couldn't work effectively in the darkness. Shion proposed using electricity for lighting, but Rimuru explained the challenges. Kaijin and Vester showed interest in the concept, suggesting using magic-imbued metal for illumination. Rimuru provided materials and left the project in their hands, suggesting the idea of building a laboratory in the cave. Vester enthusiastically embraced the idea, despite the risks of evil centipedes in the cave. Gabil assured Rimuru of Vester's safety, indicating the increasing reliability of his team. With plans for the laboratory underway, Rimuru redirected his focus to potion development, having entrusted Vester's well-being to Gabil's watchful eye. In a few days, Rimuru arranged living spaces for Gabil and his dragonute companions. Gabil, preferring to sleep immersed in water, had a custom-dug comfy room. Sokka and other winged dragonute females used rooms, but Gabil's wings made underwater sleep more comfortable. Now, the challenge was ensuring Vester's safe travel between the cave and town. Vester proposed installing a teleportation circle, or warp portal, to reduce travel time. Rimuru was surprised but agreed, understanding the potential benefits. They decided to carve the portal symbols on Magisteel, making it reusable. Vester's unexpected magical skills made him a valuable asset. Rimuru reflected on Vester's newfound happiness, free from power struggles, focused on research. With Gabil and Vester collaborating, the research efforts kicked off smoothly, marking another successful development in their growing community. After the busy visit from King Gazelle and Vester joining the group, more guests arrived in town. Following Trainee's warning, various races, including kobolds, halflings, and merfolk, visited. Kobolds, familiar with the forest changes, sought permission to build an inn and storehouse, establishing their base in town. Halflings pledged allegiance and worked on farms, while merfolk sought protection from amphibious monsters in a nearby lake. Rimuru encountered injured insectoids in the forest, Zijion and Apito, and healed them, making them part of the community. Friendly encounters continued, but occasional trouble arose from lower-level magic-born, swiftly handled by patrols. Shion, the fierce protector, dealt with them, showcasing strength over violence. As the town gained recognition, an unexpected guest, the demon lord Milim Nava, arrived with overwhelming magical power, declaring herself and seeking a friendly greeting. Milim, the powerful demon lord, spotted the town below and was captivated by its beauty, well-organized buildings, and the harmony with nature. Surprisingly, even the regular residents were low-level magic-born, each with intelligence and unique abilities. This unprecedented settlement intrigued Milim, and she used her dragon's eye to reveal that almost everyone in town was a named monster. Excitement filled her, realizing the uniqueness and strength of the community. Milim had recently dissuaded other demon lords from visiting, securing the town's safety. After negotiations with younger demon lords, she set out to explore the town, driven by curiosity and the desire for something new to alleviate her centuries-long boredom. However, her focus shifted when she discovered a mysterious magic-born with demon lord-class powers in the town, sparking her interest and anticipation for a thrilling encounter. Rimuru encountered Milim, a powerful being, who surprised him with her presence in the town. Despite hiding his magical energy, Rimuru knew Milim could see through his disguise with her unique ability. He tried to remain calm and engage in conversation, but he realized Milim's strength far surpassed his own. As they talked, Rimuru revealed his recent victory over the Orc Lord, which intrigued Milim. However, when Shion and Ranga attacked Milim, their efforts were futile against her immense power. Milim effortlessly countered their attacks, demonstrating her superiority. Rimuru knew they couldn't defeat her in battle, so he devised a plan to offer Milim something she couldn't resist: a jar of honey. Milim, like a child, was delighted by the sweet treat and agreed to a truce, sparing the town from disaster. Despite her overwhelming strength, Rimuru managed to outwit her with diplomacy, averting a catastrophe. After healing the ogres, Rimuru noticed Milim tagging along, holding the jar of honey drops he offered her earlier. She bombarded him with questions about becoming a demon lord, but Rimuru had no interest. Milim found his perspective odd, sparking a discussion about what brings joy in life. As they walked, Rimuru hinted for Milim to leave, but she persisted, demanding to know Rimuru's secret for having fun. Rimuru managed the situation cautiously, treating Milim like a child despite her immense power. Eventually, they reached an agreement, with Milim promising not to start fights in town. Rimuru breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that declaring himself a demon lord could attract unwanted attention. Rimuru took Milim around town, but it felt like babysitting a hyperactive child at an amusement park. Everywhere he turned, she dashed off. Meeting Gabel, Milim got upset over being called Little Lady and punched him hard, nearly killing him despite her promise not to start fights. Using a healing potion, they saved Gabil, who was shocked to learn Milim was a demon lord. Rimuru warned the town about Milim's temper and introduced her as a new resident, hoping she'd behave. However, Milim decided to stay in town permanently, causing concern for Rimuru. Despite the town's excitement about having a demon lord among them, Rimuru worried about the consequences of befriending someone as unpredictable as Milim, especially when she proclaimed them as BFFs forever, leaving Rimuru on edge about their newfound friendship. After Milim's introduction, they all went to the dining hall for dinner, which was curry made with a wild grass they found. Rimuru explained his struggle to find sugar and introduced his special honey with medicinal properties. Shion accidentally revealed the honey as Milim's gift, leading to discussions about its potential. The girls were excited about discovering real sugar, and Rimuru shared his limited honey supply. Later, in a meeting, concerns were raised about Milim's visit and the potential impact on the balance of power among demon lords. They decided to let Rimuru handle Milim day to day. After a bath, Milim was overjoyed and went to sleep in a guest room. Despite the challenges, it seemed like Milim's first day in Tempest ended on a positive note, with excitement and a touch of uncertainty lingering in the air. Waking up Milim early was a challenge, but they managed to get her dressed in a more suitable outfit. Breakfast consisted of bread, homemade jam, and cow deer milk. Milim loved the food, especially the jam. Rimuru pondered his daily responsibilities, including resolving town issues and overseeing construction. He considered taking Milim to Gabel's place but decided to distract her with a visit to the dress shop for custom-made outfits. Shuna offered to accompany Milim, allowing Rimuru to run an errand in the cave. Milim eagerly embraced the idea of new clothes, diverting her attention while Rimuru attended to his responsibilities. Rimuru went to the sealed cave with Kaijin to check on Gabil, who seemed fine after the encounter with Milim. Vester had filed a report about Milim's visit with King Gazelle. Rimuru asked about the progress on the healing potion, and Vester proudly presented the full potion, equivalent to Rimuru's own creation. However, discussions about selling it raised concerns, as it was too potent for regular use. Kaijin suggested negotiating with King Gazel to sell diluted potions in exchange for accepting medicine makers from the Dwarven Kingdom. Rimuru decided to delay the decision for now and left the meeting, reflecting on the potential benefits of the proposal. In the afternoon, Rimuru decided to check on Milim at the workshop, thinking the Goblinas might be helping her with clothes. However, chaos erupted in the town center. There was a commotion involving a magic-born named Phobio, claiming to work for a demon lord named Carillon. Milim had a confrontation with him, leaving Rigord injured and the magic-born defeated. Soe explained the situation, revealing that Phobio wanted to conquer the town. Milim, proud of her actions, defended her actions to Rimuru. Concerned about a potential conflict with Carillon, Rimuru scolded Milim for causing trouble without permission. Despite the chaos, Rimuru suggested moving the conversation elsewhere to avoid further disruptions. Pharmus, a big kingdom, served as a gateway to the nations in the west. These nations didn't directly connect with the Eastern Empire, but relied on influential merchants for informal trade. Dwargen, a neutral nation, played a key role in facilitating this trade. Since Pharmus shared borders with the Dwarven Kingdom, people from the west preferred the safer route through Pharmus to reach Dwargen. This trade brought rare Eastern goods and high-quality Dwarven weapons to the Western nations, making Pharmus's capital, Maris, a thriving trade city. Known as the front door to the west, Pharmus became one of the wealthiest nations in the region, benefiting from taxes and services provided to traders. Nidol Megum, the Earl of Megum, was really mad. Even though Pharmus was a wealthy kingdom, most of the riches stayed with the central government, leaving the nobles like him struggling to manage their regions. The earldom of Megum faced heavy taxes without much relief. Recently, the government announced they'd stop special payments because the storm dragon disappeared, leaving the earldom vulnerable to forest threats without additional support. Nidal felt betrayed and helpless after being summoned to the capital, only to receive bad news. He knew the storm dragon's disappearance was a big deal, but losing the support payment hurt his ability to protect his land. Nidal worried about raising taxes or relying on mercenaries, adventurers, or a draft to defend against monsters. He had to use his own funds to bolster his defense force, but the government took that away, leaving him frustrated and stressed. On his way home, Nidal struggled to find solutions to his financial and security problems, feeling overwhelmed by the challenges ahead. When Earl Nidal Mygum returned to his land, he was asked by Franz, the local guildmaster, for a meeting. Franz urgently requested help in investigating reports of an orc lord, a dangerous monster. The usually calm Franz seemed worried, and Nidal, concerned about the threat, agreed to the meeting. Franz explained the situation, asking for an exploratory force to gather information. However, Yom, the leader of the group, was upset about the lack of details and the contractual magic. He confronted Rommel, the sorcerer leading the expedition, and demanded information. Rommel, fearing for his life, revealed the true mission, investigating the Orc Lord. Yom decided to release Rommel from the magical contract and use him as an advisor, forming the Frontier Expedition Force, now free from the Earl's control. When Fuse, a guild leader, received a report from 3 adventurers, Cabal, Ellen, and Gato, about their mission in the forest of Jura, he couldn't believe the unbelievable tale they were telling. They spoke of monsters building a town and a slime named Rimuru leading them. Fuse was especially concerned about Shizu, a companion he owed his life to, who had vanished during the expedition. The trio shared details about Ifrit, a powerful spirit, going out of control and being defeated by Rimuru, a mere slime. Fuse, struggling to accept this strange story, wondered how to judge such unbelievable news. despite the evidence in the adventurers' quality equipment and the town they described. After a week of thinking hard, Fuse decided to send someone else to investigate the strange happenings. The adventurers Cabal, Ellen, and Guido returned with tales of a monster town, where they felt safe and even received gifts of equipment and healing potion. Fuse tested the potion on a burn victim and found it worked miraculously, confirming the adventurers' story. Then, a hobgoblin named Gobto informed them about an orc lord threat on behalf of his master Sir Rimuru. Fuse, initially skeptical, was convinced by Gobto's presence and decided to take the orc lord report seriously. Cabal and his friends seemed confident in Rimuru's abilities, but Fuse couldn't shake his doubts. He considered seeking advice from his friend, the Baron of Verriard, as the situation escalated into a national issue, and he prepared for a 3-month investigation. 3 months later, Fuse received reports about the Orc Lord issue, just as the Demon Lord Milim attacked Rimuru's city. He discussed the findings with the Baron of Verriard, realizing the Orc Lord had led a massive army. They pondered the incredible intelligence of the monsters in Rimuru's town and the challenge of dealing with them. Fuse considered approaching Rimuru peacefully, but also questioned the potential threat. Soon after, Gobto delivered a message that the Orc Lord issue was resolved, surprising Fuse. Later, a mysterious visitor named Soe revealed himself as Rimuru's covert agent, stating Rimuru's desire for peaceful coexistence. Fuse, intrigued and determined, decided to visit Rimuru to assess the situation, realizing the complexities of handling the monster town and the emotions involved in serving his kingdom. A few days after intimidating Rommel, Yom and his group decided not to return to their previous territory, but ventured deeper into the forest. Yom, cautious of Nidal's noble status, aimed to avoid direct conflict. Instead, he planned to investigate the Orc Lord's activities in the central forest, and then settle in a safer country. Rommel suggested deceiving the Earl of Mygam by making him believe they were defeated by the Orc Lord after completing their initial task. Yom's ultimate goal was to find a new home for the group, possibly joining a free guild for security. While patrolling, they encountered a group of humans under attack by monsters, including a powerful night spider. Despite considering fleeing, Yom decided to fight, instructing his group to form a defensive circle. Rommel used strengthening magic on Yom to enhance his abilities, and the band prepared for a challenging battle against the night spider. The battle was raging on as a woman dashed into Yom's group without asking, followed by a thief. Yom swung his heavy greatsword at the powerful night spider, determined to protect his group. Despite the spider's tough exoskeleton, Yom fought relentlessly, deflecting its strikes while his allies, Kabul and Fuse, joined the fray with their own magical enhancements. They formed a plan to surround the spider, taking turns to distract and attack it. Despite the danger, they remained focused on supporting Yom, knowing he could lead them to victory. Their determination to protect each other drove them forward in the intense battle against the formidable foe. The wizards Ellen and Rommel were casting their special spells, but Ellen's fire magic was limited by the surrounding trees. She attempted powerful attacks like stone shot, but the night spider, a strong monster, shrugged off the magical assault. Rommel explained that the spider had high magical resistance, and Ellen realized her spells wouldn't work. With no other option, she and Rommel focused on supporting Yom and the fighters, enhancing their defenses with magic. Despite the challenging situation, they coordinated well, providing crucial support in the intense battle. Meanwhile, Yom, Fuse, and Cabal continued their struggle against the night spider, displaying both exhaustion and determination. Just when it seemed they might falter, a new group of goblin riders led by Gobta arrived, changing the course of the fight. As Gobchi and Gobta were finishing their patrol, they heard sounds of a fight. Gobchi urged Gobta to investigate, reminding him they might get scolded later if they didn't. Reluctantly, Gobta agreed, and they followed the noise to find Kabul and Fuse battling a night spider. Kabul pleaded for Gobta's help, and Fuse urged him to take his place. Gobta swiftly took over Kabul's position, while Gobchi organized the other goblins to distract the spider. Despite the spider's resistance, Gobta's team managed to attack it with their swift wolf mounts. As they fought, Cabal and Yom marveled at the goblins' weapons and strength. Meanwhile, Gobta's unique sword, crafted by Kurobe, impressed everyone with its sharpness and magical abilities. Using his sheath as a weapon, Gobta stunned the spider with a powerful shot, leaving the humans bewildered. While the goblins celebrated their victory, the humans, including Fuze and Yom, were left speechless and confused. Gobta's cheerful demeanor contrasted with the humans' mixed emotions, but they all eventually headed back to Tempest, the land of monsters, with the goblins' help. In a meeting hall, Rimuru, along with Milim, Shion, Soe, Rigurd, and Benamaru, gathered with new faces Fuz, Yom, and Rommel. Fuz, a guild leader from Bluemund, and Yom, captain of the Frontier Expedition Force, sought answers about Rimuru's town, while Rommel, a magician, accompanied Yom. Introductions were made, including Rimuru's slime identity, which surprised Fuze. As they discussed, tensions rose when Yom questioned Rimuru's authority, leading to a clash with Shion and Milim. Rimuru intervened, but tensions remained high until Yom agreed to cooperate with Rimuru's plans. Fuze, still skeptical, wanted assurances about Rimuru's loyalty to humanity, which Rimuru accepted. In the end, they all agreed to work together, forging new alliances in the land of monsters. Fuz, a friend of Variard's Baron, helped Rimuru spread rumors to local nations and connect with free guilds. In return, Rimuru offered preferential treatment to Bluemund merchants, allowing them to stay in Rimuru without tariffs. Rimuru worried about building trust with Bluemund and determining appropriate taxes. Meanwhile, Yom, now a champion, received special equipment crafted by Garm, including exo armor and a Dragon Slayer sword. Yom trained hard, and Rimuru hoped the unique items would strengthen their story. Despite initial hesitation, Rimuru believed Yom was worthy of the powerful equipment. The town worked towards building diplomatic ties, but Rimuru was uncertain about the outcome, hoping for a positive turn in the future. Yom continued his training, and after completing his special armor and sword, Rimuru decided to equip the rest of Yom's band. Hakuro trained them, adding more weight to the champion's tail. The band not only appreciated the gear, but also enjoyed life in the city. Rimuru offered Rommel the sorcerer magic-resistant armor and a communication crystal. Rommel, grateful, returned to Bluemund to spread exaggerated tales of Yom's victory over the Orc Lord. Yom shared his dislike for the Earl of Bluemund, Nidol Migam, and his plans to help villages without guild bureaucracy. Rimuru hoped this collaboration would boost Yom's reputation and promote the town. Weeks later, with everyone equipped and prepared, Yom and his band set off, promising to use Rimuru's town as their base for future activities, leaving a sense of farewell in the air. Murin, a magic-born, wandered through the forest feeling conflicted. Once a witch, she had lived peacefully for 300 years until the demon lord Clayman offered her eternal life in exchange for loyalty. However, this deal turned her into a puppet under Clayman's control through a cursed seal, called Marionette Heart. Murin, unable to break free, harbored resentment while serving Clayman. Now assigned to an investigation, she wished for a different mission but had to follow Clayman's orders. With mixed emotions, she used her magical abilities to detect another magic-born nearby, signaling her proximity to the assigned territory. Miyurin witnessed a peculiar scene in the forest as monsters, led by a higher-level orc, were constructing a road. The Orc Lord had won a battle and evolved, evident from the magical energy she sensed earlier. Assigned to observe, Miyurin wondered about the road's destination and decided to explore beyond her designated area. She stealthily ran along the road and detected a powerful magic-born, Phobio, approaching. Following him, she glimpsed an open area where Phobio landed, only to discover the presence of the fearsome demon lord Milim. Despite the distance, Milim noticed Miyurin, but chose not to interfere. Feeling a mix of fear and relief, Miyurin retreated, contemplating how to report this unexpected encounter to her master, Clayman. After delivering her report to the demon lord, Miyurin felt a heavy sigh escape her. Clayman, disappointed with her performance, criticized her for being spotted by her observation target, emphasizing her lack of value. Miyurin, aware of her precarious position, reflected on her pledge to serve such a harsh master. She knew Clayman viewed her as expendable, similar to Gelmud. Despite the discouragement, she steeled herself for the challenges ahead, realizing that her survival depended on success in her next mission. Feeling trapped, Miyurin considered the possibility of faking her death or finding a way to break free from Clayman's control. She decided to bide her time, waiting for the right opportunity while keeping a watchful eye on the unfolding events, especially with the unpredictable presence of the powerful demon lord Milim in the vicinity. After cutting off communication with Miyurin, the demon lord Clayman, with a disdainful sneer, reflected on his plan progressing as intended. He needed Milim to believe he was interested in the mysterious monsters. Unwilling to have powerful demon lords under his control, Clayman sought a puppet demon lord, focusing on manipulating Frey to join his side. His true friend, Tiare, the teardrop jester, entered the scene, criticizing Clayman's treatment of his tools. Despite her apparent rebuke, it was evident that Clayman cherished Tiare. Discussing Milim's involvement with the Magicborn, Clayman revealed his uncertainty about their true strength. Tiare suggested a more cautious approach, leading Clayman to consider gathering additional information before making decisions. Tyr then shared her investigation findings about Frey's concerns over the potential resurrection of Charybdis. Clayman, intrigued, requested Tyr to explore the creature's location and assess the possibility of aligning it with their cause, emphasizing a non-violent approach. With Tyr's departure, Clayman's momentary worry turned into anticipation for the potential power of Charybdis. Carillon, a powerful leader, declared himself Demon Lord 400 years ago during a time of great turmoil in the world. Frey and Clayman joined the ranks of Demon Lords later on, followed by Leon Cromwell. Together, they formed the new generation, aspiring to match the strength of the older Demon Lords. Phobio, one of Carillon's loyal followers, faced defeat by Milim but refused to return home in shame. Despite his pride, Phobio's frustration and desire for revenge consumed him as he and his companions observed Milim's activities in a nearby town. Tear and Footman, members of the moderate jesters, approached Phobio's group, offering assistance and tempting. Phobio with the opportunity to become a demon lord himself. Overwhelmed by the prospect of power and revenge, Phobio agreed to their proposal, unaware of their true intentions. The promise of taming Charybdis and the flattery from Teare and Footman blinded Phobio to the risks involved. Leading him to accept their offer eagerly, Phobio made a firm decision and instructed his troops to report his agreement to Carillon, choosing to leave his position in the three lycanthropeers and Carillon's force to pursue his own path. His determination to become stronger and seek revenge against Milim drove him forward, despite his companions' attempts to dissuade him. Enrio, recognizing Phobio's unyielding resolve, conveyed the message to Carillon, understanding the potential consequences of Phobio's actions. Meanwhile, Tear and Footman persuaded Phobio to accompany them to a cave where Charybdis lay sealed, tempting him with the promise of power and revenge against Milim. Phobio's desire for strength and retribution blinded him to the dangers ahead, leading him to agree to merge with Charybdis. Unbeknownst to him, Tiare and Footman manipulated Phobio's emotions and ambitions to achieve their own goals, mocking his gullibility and disposing of the corpses they had gathered for the ritual. In the end, Phobio's fate was sealed by his own thirst for power and vengeance, leaving him vulnerable to manipulation and exploitation by Tiare and Footman. Milim spent her days exploring and helping out in the town. Sometimes she joined in on fieldwork, making farming look like a breeze, while other times she tried her hand at forging swords with Kurobi, creating chaos with her energetic approach. Despite the occasional chaos, life in town was generally peaceful after Yom and his crew left. Fuse, a visitor, seemed suspicious at first, but decided to stay longer, enjoying the comfortable atmosphere. Rimuru, the town leader, questioned Fuse about his extended stay and his initial concerns, to which Fuse admitted he found the town relaxing and appreciated the break. Rimuru was surprised by Fuse's casual approach, especially since the visitor had promised to help Yom and his group. However, Fuse reassured Rimuru that he had already taken care of the arrangements for Yom and shared his positive impressions of the town. As the town grew with various races settling in, Rimuru initiated plans for a road to improve connections with other places. Fuse, touched by Rimuru's willingness to help, promised support, leading to a positive collaboration between them. Milim happily arrived with a bountiful harvest of monsters, accompanied by Cabal and Guido. Excitement filled the air as they discussed their successful hunt. However, the mood shifted abruptly when Traya, a dryad, appeared with urgent news. Charybdis, a powerful and dangerous monster, had revived, accompanied by 13 monstrous megalodons. The town leaders, led by Rimuru, quickly organized a strategy to face this formidable threat. While some were eager for battle, Fuse expressed concern about the gravity of the situation and the need for international assistance. While Milim remained unaffected by the looming threat to the town, Rimuru gathered with Fuse and Cabal's trio to discuss their plans. Rimuru assured them of his commitment to face the upcoming danger and seek support from King Gazelle. Fuse, initially doubtful, questioned Rimuru's decision, but the slime leader emphasized the importance of facing challenges head-on. Rimuru then revealed his human past, transforming into a human form to explain the connection with Shizu. The group, though surprised, chose to believe in Rimuru. Ellen, in particular, expressed her trust and curiosity about Rimuru's goal to fulfill Shizu's dream. However, when Rimuru mentioned the powerful Demon Lord Leon as his target, Cabal's trio grew uneasy and warned against underestimating such formidable adversaries. The big battle was about to start. They gathered near the Dwarven Kingdom, waiting for the dangerous Charybdis to appear. Geld and his team were there, and King Gazelle sent 100 knights to help. Even though they had a plan, there was a backup with 400 more knights just in case. Trainee shared important info about Charybdis, calling it a monster born from Veldora's magicules. This made it related to Rimuru, which explained why it was targeting him. The big challenge was Charybdis's ability to mess up magic, making flying difficult. They had to rely on non-magical aerial fighters. Milim, eager to help, was turned down by Cheyenne and others, who wanted to defend their town themselves. The big fight was getting intense. They knew they had to face Charybdis and its megalodons, which could mess up their magic. Even though they had few options, they decided to attack and see what happened. When they spotted Charybdis and its crew, it was a surreal sight with giant sharks flying in the sky alongside a massive dragon. Despite the odds, they started the fight. The Pegasus Knights were on their way, but they couldn't rely on big magic once the battle started. Benimaru's strongest attack didn't do much, showing how tough Charybdis was. Still, they stayed calm and focused on their plan. They split up to deal with the megalodons, knowing they were dangerous but not very smart. On a hill, Rimuru oversaw Geld's elite orc force engaging the megalodons following Benimaru's failed attempt. Seeking cover in the forest, the orcs struggled against the megalodons, who effortlessly tore through the trees. Despite defensive gear, many orcs were seriously hurt by the megalodon's blade charge. In a decisive moment, Geld faced a megalodon head-on, momentarily halting its charge. However, their attacks were insufficient. Gabil, sensing danger, intervened, dealing a powerful blow that swiftly dispatched one megalodon. The Dragonutes under Gabil's command used healing potions to tend to the wounded orcs. The collaboration between Rimuru, Geld, and Gable resulted in the defeat of 2 megalodons, strengthening their unity in the face of adversity. In the midst of combat, Gobta, under Hakuro's guidance, used the case cannon against megalodons, causing minimal damage. Engaging in a game of tag, Hakuro strategically led the Goblin Riders in a dangerous yet coordinated attack on the megalodon, relying on high potions for recovery. With only 20 Goblin Riders divided into 5 teams, they took turns baiting and attacking the massive shark, demonstrating impressive teamwork. While Hakuro's ruthless training methods impressed others, Malim expressed a desire to join the fun, met with a firm rejection from Rimuru, who struggled with the emotional toll of playing the bad cop with her eager friend. In the sky, Soe, like Benimaru, engaged in aerial combat using air flight, struggling with a megalodon. Leveraging a clever tactic with Dragonute Shadows and his shadow motion skill, Soe managed to control 4 megalodons simultaneously, making them attack each other. Meanwhile, Sokka and her Dragonute team, inspired by Soe's leadership, executed a coordinated assault on the megalodons, bringing down 4 of them. Despite the chaos, Soe's exceptional skills and Sokka's team's disciplined actions showcased their growth and determination in the face of adversity, leaving Rimuru impressed and curious about the education that led to their cool-headed approach. While Rimuru was distracted, Cheyenne expressed her determination to stand out this time, with Ranga's agreement. Riding on Ranga's back, Cheyenne witnessed his remarkable ability to run in midair using control wind, enhancing his speed and agility. With Cheyenne's large sword, they executed a daring maneuver, swiftly decapitating a megalodon with their combined skills, including Cheyenne's decapitating demon blade. Inspired by their success, they targeted 2 more megalodons, eager to confront Charybdis itself. In the heat of battle, with 13 formidable foes defeated and the remaining 2 in sight, the situation turned dire as Sui and the others faced Charybdis. Amidst the chaos, Gopta's unexpected injury brought a somber moment, but the focus shifted to the daunting task of confronting Charybdis. Soi displayed remarkable control over the final Megalodon, while Shion and Ranga launched a daring assault. However, their attacks proved futile against Charybdis's immense size and formidable defenses. Trainees' warning about Charybdis's devastating Tempest Scale attack set the stage for a tense showdown. As the scales descended, Soi, Shion, and Ranga faced imminent danger, their resolve unwavering despite the odds. Rimuru's timely intervention, using the glutton ability to consume the scales, turned the tide of battle. Facing the aftermath of Charybdis's devastating Tempest Scale, Rimuru acknowledged the fortunate timing of learning about this deadly attack before the arrival of the Pegasus Knights. The potential threat of another barrage loomed large, prompting Rimuru to strategize on keeping Charybdis engaged and revealing its attacks. Wishing he had accepted Milim's offer for assistance, Rimuru commenced the mission to conquer Charybdis. Employing a new magical move, he experimented with Dark Flame and Dark Thunder, discovering their effectiveness against the massive dragon. However, as Rimuru grappled with the dragon's ultra-speed regeneration, realizing it fueled the rapid regrowth of Charybdis's scales, a sense of urgency and concern permeated the ongoing battle. Determined to mitigate the dragon's threat, Rimuru shared vital information with his allies and formulated a plan to involve the Pegasus Knights in the confrontation. After an intense battle that lasted for over 10 hours, Rimuru and the group struggled to damage Charybdis faster than it could regenerate. Exhaustion set in, but they pressed on, realizing they were only about 30% through. In a desperate attempt, Rimuru discovered a small, weakened life within Charybdis, identified as Phobio by Milim's dragon's eye. With Charybdis targeting Milim due to lingering emotions, Rimuru devised a plan for Milim to take over the battle. Milim unleashed a devastating attack, obliterating Charybdis and rescuing Phobio. Rimuru then separated Charybdis and Phobio, using his unique skills, and healed the weakened Phobio with a full potion. The threat of Charybdis was finally eradicated, bringing relief and a sense of accomplishment to the exhausted group. When Knight Captain Dolph approached Rimuru, he asked for an explanation about what happened. Rimuru admitted that Milim was actually a demon lord, and apologized for not informing them about her powerful abilities. Dolph was annoyed but acknowledged that they successfully eliminated the dangerous Charybdis. Expressing gratitude for the dwarves' help, Rimuru agreed to report to King Gazelle in Dwargon personally. Dolph, showing kindness, suggested that Kaijin and the others could join the visit, revealing a softer side behind his military demeanor. The Pegasus Knights left without injuries, and Rimuru felt genuinely thankful for their support. After the incident, Rimuru realized the moderate jesters manipulated their targets by offering help, using Phobio to unleash Charybdis upon them. Despite Phobio's involvement, Rimuru decided not to punish him, recognizing he was manipulated. When Phobio offered his life as penance, Rimuru and Milim forgave him, understanding he was a victim. Carillon, the demon lord, appeared and thanked them for sparing Phobio, expressing his sincerity. Surprisingly, Carillon admitted his mistake, apologized, and offered assistance to make amends. Rimuru suggested a non-aggression treaty, and Carillon readily accepted, showcasing his broad-minded nature. The day ended with Carillon and Phobio returning home, leaving Rimuru contemplating future diplomatic relations with Eurazania and a sense of settling after a tumultuous day. Since Charybdis's defeat, life in the Land of Tempest became peaceful. The nation gained recognition from Dwargon and Blumund, establishing friendly relations. Fuse, an emissary, worked to convince the nobles to collaborate with Tempest. Cabal and his group, though reluctant, left to escort Fuse back home. Additionally, talks with the Beast Kingdom of Eurazania were in progress, aiming to strengthen diplomatic ties. Rimuru, the leader of Tempest, was content with the progress. Daily activities included morning training sessions with Milim, who wielded a unique dragon knuckle gifted by Rimuru. Afternoons were spent on town rounds, ensuring everything ran smoothly. The diverse and delicious meals, prepared by Shuna, delighted everyone, especially Milim. Training sessions improved the strength and skills of Tempest residents. Despite the challenges, Rimuru continued his efforts to grow stronger and prepare for potential threats, seeking balance and harmony in his expanding nation. The routine also provided a chance for Rimuru to connect emotionally with Milim, his newfound friend. A few days later, Milim announced she was heading off for work, surprising everyone. She changed into her original outfit using a magic called Change Dress, a trick Rimuru wanted to learn. Milim assured Rimuru she would inform other demon lords not to bother their town during her absence. Although Rimuru worried about a secret conference among demon lords, he was relieved if it meant avoiding trouble. Milim, part of a group that excluded Leon, claimed her intelligence would prevent deception. As she sped away, Shion expressed concern, sharing Rimuru's worries. Despite feeling lonely without Milim, they decided to focus on getting stronger to surprise her upon her return. The ogre mages, particularly Shion, vowed to train harder. Rimuru, determined, resumed training with Hakuro, leaving the worry behind for now. In a grand room, Clayman savored his victory over orchestrating Charybdis's attack on Milim, sharing the news with Frey. Pleased with the outcome, he acknowledged the powerful Magic-born who defeated Gelmud and expressed concern about their potential growth. Discussing compensation, Frey agreed to a request from Clayman, sealing their deal. With newfound confidence, Clayman contemplated his larger goals, including controlling Milim with a mysterious item. As Frey left, Clayman offered assistance against Milim in the future. Alone, he schemed further, considering Majoran's involvement and the mystery Magic-born's threat. Despite not focusing on Rimuru, Clayman felt a sinister joy, wearing his mask to reveal his true self, plotting the next moves in his intricate plan.
That's it for today, guys, and thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for next chapter. Until then, goodbye.